If Asia Wilson and Fulwiley are the top two most talented players to ever commit to South Carolina, Joyce Edwards has to be number 3. She hasn't played a minute of college basketball, but it's clear she's different from a lot of her peers. South Carolina has no shortage of great post players on their team, but Joyce Edwards is so special, she will find a way to play big minutes even as a freshman. I believe when her career is all said and done, she'll be on the Mount Rushmore of South Carolina women basketball players. Joyce Edwards is bringing a pro-style game to South Carolina. She's a 6'2" forward who can handle the ball, knock down mid-range shots, drive to the basket, and is a lockdown defender. You know, a player is built different when they are ranked 3rd in the country, and it's widely viewed as disrespect. When you look at Joyce Edwards' high school resume, it's hard to believe just one person could rack up so many achievements. She was McDonald's All-American Co-MVP. She was the MVP for the Jordan Brand Hoop Classic and the Nike Hoop Summit. She was the National Gatorade Player of the Year. This summer, she was the MVP for the Under-18 AmeriCup tournament. The crazy part is, this isn't even half of everything Joyce has accomplished in her high school career. It's not a question of if she will be a good college basketball player. It's how fast. And considering how advanced she is already, it will not take very long. But exactly what makes Joyce Edwards so special? Let's get into it. Joyce Edwards is a star athlete in basketball, soccer, and volleyball. The skills she gained in the other 2 sports clearly translate to the other parts of her basketball game. Soccer is definitely to credit for her ability to run the floor. Joyce Edwards is a player that is constantly moving. Not only is she able to run fast, she has the stamina to take advantage of it. Her ability to get easy looks off the ball from being able to run the floor is going to be a very important ability to have at South Carolina. They are a fast-paced team with amazing facilitators, so she's going to get a lot of points by staying active off the ball. She's a great off-the-ball player, but is just as effective when the ball is in her hand. Her footwork and athleticism make her a nightmare to guard when she's facing up or driving to the basket. There are many times where she looks like a guard out there. She's a very good ball handler for her size and has a very good layup package. If the defender isn't as athletic as Joyce Edwards or is a tall player that knows how to use their body well, they are going to have serious problems guarding her. Joyce Edwards is incredible inside, but what truly makes her dangerous is her ability to make mid-range shots at a high rate. Joyce is ideally a player you would want to sag off as she's too quick to stay in front of. But if you give her an open look in the mid-range area, she's going to knock it down. I can't say how many times I've looked at a really good post player and was like, wow, imagine if they had a jump shot. Joyce having one is going to make her nearly unguardable once she becomes a focal point in the offense. Joyce Edwards' play style is pretty similar to Chloe Kitts, who also plays for South Carolina. Both of them have a lethal face-up game, can drive and shoot, and have amazing mobility for their size. But one area Joyce has a huge advantage is her back-to-the-basket game. Because of this, I would not be surprised if we see a lot of times where Chloe is at the 3 position, while Joyce is running the 4 for South Carolina. Joyce has an arsenal of moves when she's deep in the paint. Combine that with the strength she has, and she's able to finish over a variety of post players. It doesn't matter if they are short and strong or tall and lanky, she'll find a way to put the ball in the hoop. Joyce Edwards having such a deep offensive bag at an early age is why I have zero doubts she will be able to translate to the collegiate level. But she offers a lot more than just scoring. Those who have watched my channel for a while know that I'm very high on defensive players. Joyce Edwards is no exception. She's 6'2", mobile and athletic. She uses her gifts to be just as good on the defensive side of the ball as she is on offense. Most great defensive players either specialize in stealing the basketball or blocking shots. Joyce Edwards can do both. It's not uncommon for her to get multiple steals and blocks in a game, even against higher level competition. Joyce Edwards can reliably guard positions 1 through 4. When she's defending perimeter players, she's quick and agile enough to not get burned by them. Even if she does, she can chase them down and block the shot. And she's strong enough to not get pushed around by post players inside the paint. Joyce Edwards is by far the safest player in the class in terms of how her game will translate. A lot of players have insane ceilings, but have flaws that can potentially hamper them from being a dominant college player. Even though Joyce Edwards is a very safe prospect, that does not mean there is no room for improvement. The biggest problem I see with Joyce Edwards is that there are a lot of times where she's out of control when she's trying to finish at the rim. There are many times where she tries to finish over multiple defenders, when it would be better for her to pass it out to an open player. There are also times where she'll just shoot a really awkward shot because she doesn't have good position inside. It's very reminiscent of Russell Westbrook. You have a really skilled player, who can attempt shots in the paint that no one should realistically be taking, but when it goes wrong, it can be rather frustrating. This is something Dawn Staley will definitely harp on to make sure she corrects. With how stacked South Carolina is, there's no reason to take ill-advised shots. Joyce Edwards is a pretty solid passer, so these missed shots can easily turn into multiple assists for her. I expect Joyce Edwards to get the Hidalgo and Juju Watkins treatment. What I mean by that is once teams realize they can't guard her, they are going to start whacking her. The problem is, Joyce Edwards' free throw shooting isn't consistent enough to punish teams from doing this. South Carolina already has a huge problem with free throw shooting, and Joyce unfortunately won't be able to help. I think improving her free throw shooting and being more controlled at the rim are going to be Joyce's biggest priorities, but another area that would be great for her to improve in is her three-point shooting. She has shown the ability to make them, she just doesn't shoot too many. This is, again, another way she's similar to Chloe Kitts. Joyce Edwards could never attempt a three again in her life and still be a dominant collegiate player, but it would make South Carolina as a team much better and also make her a better professional basketball player. With how dangerous she's inside, more consistent three-point shooting would result in ridiculous spacing. Now that we got her strengths and weaknesses out the way, I'm going to give projections for her freshman year and the rest of her career. It's very likely Joyce Edwards will come off the bench at South Carolina. She's obviously very talented, but so were Asia Wilson and Full Wiley, and they came off the bench. The stats might seem low considering the praise I have given her, but it's important to account for the fact that South Carolina has the most balanced scoring in the country. Because of this, I expect Joyce to only average around 10 to 12 points her freshman season. I expect her to shoot at least 50% from the field as well. When Joyce isn't forcing bad shots or driving out of control, she's an extremely efficient scorer, and I have no doubt Dawn will make sure she sticks to quality shots. Not only does Joyce have the tools to be a great defender, she wants to be. She's a top recruit in the country, but has the hustle of a walk-on looking to prove themselves. This is why I have her averaging 1.5 steals and blocks per game. I think these numbers will be enough for her to win Freshman of the Year in the SEC. I could even see her sneaking on the All-SEC second team. For the next 3 years of her career, I expect nothing but great things from her. But what's tricky about individual awards for South Carolina is that they are often competing with each other. Votes will be split between them, which makes it harder for them to win. However, just like Full Wiley, I think Joyce's talent is simply too high for her not to be a multi-time All-American. During her senior year, it would not remotely shock me if she's in the National Player of the Year conversation, especially considering players like Full Wiley, Hidalgo, and Juju Watkins will presumably be gone by then. Joyce's ceiling is very high, but I think her floor is the best out of any player in this class. There's some players, like the player that will be featured in the next breakdown video, that have very high ceilings but have flaws that are very concerning. But I don't see that with Joyce. I think the absolute worst case scenario for her is a multi-time all-conference player. She simply has too many tools at a young age to be a bust, assuming no catastrophic events or something. I'd say the player she resembles the most is Kiki Iriafen. They are athletic post players who have an advanced post moveset, have good handles for their size, and can hit mid-range shots. Now the difference is that unlike Kiki Iriafen, Joyce Edwards probably won't be forced to rot on the bench the first 2 years. But that's it for this video. How good do you believe Joyce Edwards will be her freshman year? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you later.